Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Chief Joe Dixon. Once again, we're here at the 2021 Black Chief Officers Committee Conference and Symposium, and we are honored to have joining us someone that needs no introduction, but I will try. This is Chief Gillespie. Some of you know him certainly from his long and stellar career in the United States Fire Service, many contributions, including being the chair of the board of the IAFC. So I will again now proudly introduce Chief Gillespie, sir.
Joe, pleased to be here.
Yes, sir. What have you been? What's been going on with you? How long have you been retired?
Well, I stopped working for the fire service as a member inside a department in 2012.
Wow.
So in the last 9 years now, I've been a consultant and working on many projects, but my main project that I've been working on is something that I started working on back when I was the president of the International Association of Fire Chiefs, and at that time the fire chief in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that was what we called the D block in those days, but
yes,
we know it as FirstNet.
Yes, sir.
So that's my main project. I keep working on that as a consultant. I don't work for AT&T. I don't work for the federal government. And now AT&T brings us on as a consultant, myself and many of our members. But what we're there to do is represent public safety.
Yes,
make
sir.
sure that our network, because it's ours, it belongs to public safety, is being built properly, and that what we want as public safety members is getting taken care of. So that's what I do.
So do you feel, because you're right, your name has been synonymous with this, I hate to call it a battle, but it has been a battle to make sure that when in times of crisis we're able to communicate, which is part of what the D block was supposed to assist us in accomplishing. So do you feel like the work that you have done and are currently doing, we are near completion?
Well, I would say we're near the end of the beginning, I guess is the best way to put that.
Okay.
Because once the RFP was awarded to a company to build it, AT&T, it's a 25-year contract. They had 5 years to cover over 90% of our area and our people, and they are way ahead of schedule. So that's the good part. This will be an ongoing process for the rest of that contract, and at the end of 25 years, that network still belongs to public safety.
Yes,
and it's monitored by the federal government. But we set that up on purpose when we were working on the legislation, so that we could make sure that whoever was helping us had their feet held to the fire to make sure that we got the best of everything as innovations occurred. And that's what we're working on. What we're working on now. We've seen several great innovations. One of the things people ask me, can you compare what this communications has done to us in emergency services? Because it's not just fire department.
Yes, sir.
It's police and emergency managers and all of our supporting agencies with public works and stuff like that come in to help us when times are bad. And you look back at the innovations we had in the fire service. Well, we went from horses to gas to diesel, and we went from speaking trumpets to portable radios, and we went from no breathing apparatus to rebreathers, and then the air packs that we wear today.
Yes, sir.
And all of those things were innovations in our organizations that changed how we responded and how we protected the people that we protect. So my comparison to that is when we came into the industrial age as a country, we had a big shift. And we're now in the communications era age, and there's a big shift in the country. But all of those innovations that happened before in the fire and EMS and emergency services will not equate what this change is going to be for us. The things that are happening exponentially, changing how we communicate, how we share information, how we're able to respond better for our people. Things that we thought wouldn't happen for years are now already happening. There's some innovations out there like the Z axis. Remember how important that is for us to know where somebody's at in a building like this? We know X and Y. We had that done for years. That's here now.
Yes, sir.
That's happening. Our incident commanders can have access to that information from outside the building and send help. All of the data that's going on inside the building, we have the capability of transmitting that now, which we didn't have before. Even if we used a commercial network, we couldn't do that because it'd get overloaded and that network would drop out. That's why it was so important for us to establish not just that we had our own network, but that we had our own network that could be nationwide.
Yes, sir.
Because if it was happening in your area and you built your network and we built our network in our area and then we had to come together, it didn't work. We had the same problem with radios.
That is correct. So you're essentially saying, Chief, which is great, is that this, by having, and there's a phenomenon, I can't remember what it's called, but you're talking about the speed of innovation and how it continues to accelerate to the point where it's exponential. We'll see where it took years to go from this to that. Now as we enter that communications era that you're talking about, it's going to speed up. So we're going to see it much quicker. So I appreciate that. But this is going to keep the responders safer, which in turn keeps our public, our community safer. So we appreciate what you've done and what you're continuing to do to assist us as public safety, all hazardous response professionals. But you're here at the Black Chief Officers Committee, and you have a history of not only as the chairman of the board, but also being in your career as a fire chief, promoting diversity, promoting inclusion and equity. So being here as part of this conference, tell us, again, why you chose to be here.
Well, it's always been an important piece in my mind, because I didn't want anybody to think that I thought anything less or didn't recognize talent from anybody, and that means anybody.
Anybody, yes, sir.
And I believed in your mission, and when I had a chance to get involved with some of the folks, I worked with many of them over years on projects, and when I had a chance to get involved with your organization, it was a no-brainer for me. It was the ability to stand out. Now, I'm retired. I've been retired for a number of years.
Yes, sir.
I don't have to be here. I don't have to be anywhere except fishing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the answer is, I think it's important. Just like FirstNet is important to keep the mission moving forward. I want to keep the mission moving forward for all of our people.
That's correct, because it's the mission, what we do daily, but there's also a vision that you're working toward.
Exactly.
And you have to continue maintaining your mission, working towards your vision. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are certainly honored to have such a distinguished member of our profession here with us, and he shared some wisdom. He even gave you a history lesson, talking about we went from horses all the way to SBA to the point where you could locate our personnel within a building and sharing that communication when the crisis hits. So, Mr. Chairman of the board, we certainly thank you for your time, sir. We thank you for all the things you've done, the things that you're doing, and what we know that you're going to continue to do to advance the fire and emergency response professionals, all hazardous response service. I always get, because one of the things I talk about is that we continue to call ourselves the fire service, but we do so much more. And I try to condition myself to say all hazardous response professionals, because we respond to everything, especially as a fire chief. That's important for my city manager, for my man to know. But we thank you, sir, for doing what you've done and doing it well for so long.
Thank you, Joe. It's a pleasure to be here with you again.
Yes, sir.
See all my friends.
Yes, sir.